You know you need help. You're drowning, the projects are stacking up, the meetings are back to back, the decisions keep coming. At home, you're managing everything there too, but you can't ask for help. You know how. You're a leader. You've built teams, you've delegated tasks, you've redirected requests. You know the mechanics of asking. The problem is, asking for help feels like admitting that you can't handle it. Like proving you weren't ready for this level. Like confirming everyone's quiet doubts about whether you actually belong here. You keep managing everything and you're handling it. You keep saying yes when colleagues offer support, but what you're really saying inside is that I should be able to handle this myself. And then you're exhausted. And I mean, not just physically exhausted, but emotionally, because managing everything, that by itself isn't leadership. It's actually emotional sabotage. Listen, here's what nobody is telling you: asking for help isn't weakness, it's strategy. But as an accomplished woman, you've been rewarded your entire career for not needing help, for figuring things out, and for being the one who handles it. Your competence is your currency. So asking for help feels like you're devaluing yourself. But here's the real truth: the woman you're becoming doesn't measure her worth by how much she handles everything alone. She measures it by how strategically she builds systems that allow her to lead well. I'm Davina Dandridge, author, professor, and emotional empowerment strategist. This is Brains and Baubles Live, where we talk about sophisticated empowerment, strategic living, and the refined emotional mastery that helps high achieving women make decisions today that they'll be happy with 5 years from now. Today, we're talking about why asking for help feels impossible and what is stealing from your leadership and how to ask anyway, strategically and without sacrificing your credibility. Here's what you need to understand: your emotions impact your thinking impacts your behavior, and your behavior creates your environment. Right now, the emotion you're managing is fear. Fear that asking for help makes you look incompetent. Fear that people will question if you're really ready for this level. And fear that admitting that you need support confirms their doubts. The fear that impacts your thinking is the fear that says, if I ask for help, they'll think I can't handle it. I should be able to do this all by myself. Or you think leaders don't need help, they give it. That's the thinking that drives your behavior. You say no when colleagues offer to take something off of your plate. You stay late to finish work that you could have delegated to somebody else. Or you manage everything yourself because delegating feels like you're admitting defeat. And that behavior creates an environment where you're overloaded, isolated, and one mistake away from being totally burned out. So here's the truth: asking for help doesn't feel like failure because you can't handle things. It feels like failure because your entire career has been rewarded for you not needing help. Think about it. When did you get promoted? When you figured it out yourself? When did you get recognized? When you handled the crisis alone? When did you earn respect? When you delivered without asking for support. Your competence is your currency. You've learned that needing help devalues you, so you've built an identity around being the person who doesn't need help. But here's the problem with that identity: it won't scale. What worked at the associate level won't work at the director's level. What worked when you managed yourself doesn't work when you manage a team. What worked when you had five priorities doesn't work when you have 50. The skills that got you here won't get you where you're going. And if you keep operating like asking for help is a failure, then you'll hit a ceiling that you can't break through. Research from leadership studies show that women in senior roles report higher levels of isolation more than men at the same level. Why? Because women are less likely to ask for help, even when they need it. They're more likely to attribute success to external factors and failure to internal ones. They're more likely to believe that needing support means they don't belong where they are. But here's what the research also shows: leaders who ask for strategic help, not desperate help, strategic help, build stronger teams, earn more respect, and advance faster than leaders who try to handle everything alone. So, asking for help isn't the problem. The way you're thinking about asking for help is the problem. Right now, you're thinking about it's like admitting failure. You need to start thinking about it like a strategic leadership move. Let me show you how to ask for help using the BLING concept. It's a framework that I created for designing your future strategically, not reactively. BLING stands for believe, learn, investigate, negotiate, give. Here's how it works when you need to ask for help. Believe it's okay to need help. You have to start here. You have to believe that needing help doesn't disqualify you from leadership, it positions you for it. The Proverbs 31 woman, the ideal model for sophisticated womanhood. She didn't do everything herself. She delegated tasks to other people. She hired help. She built a community to achieve the environment she desired. She was a future thinker who minimized stress by managing resources strategically. Proverbs 31:16 says, she considereth a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands, she planteth a vineyard. She's strategic, she's discerning, she's not trying to do it all alone. You have to believe that asking for help is sophisticated leadership, not desperate scrambling. Learn where you actually need help. Not everything. You don't need help with everything. You need help with specific things that drain your emotions without moving the vision forward. Use self awareness. What tasks are you doing that someone else could handle just as well? What meetings are you attending that don't require your decision making? What projects are you managing that should belong to someone else? Learn the difference between what only you can do and what you're doing because you don't trust anyone else to do it right. Investigate who can help you now. This is where strategy comes in. You're not asking desperately, you're asking strategically. Who on your team has the capacity? Who has the skill set? Who would benefit from this growth opportunity? And who's been waiting for you to trust them with more? At home, investigate what your husband can handle, not what you think he should automatically know to do, what he can actually do if you communicate clearly and give him room to do it his way. Sometimes it's better to pay for help than to ask family or friends. If you hire someone, you can tell them exactly what you need without the emotional back and forth. You're managing a resource, not navigating a relationship. Negotiate the terms clearly. This is where most women fail. They ask for help, but don't clarify what help looks like. So the person tries to help, does it differently than you would have done it, and you take it back because it's easier for you to just do it yourself. And that's not your help failing you, that's you failing to negotiate clearly. When you ask for help, you should specify what you need them to do, first of all, when you need it to get done, what success looks like, what decision making authority that they have, and then don't micromanage them. You negotiate the outcome and then you step back and let them handle it their way. Give them room to do it differently. This is the hardest part. You have to release control. You have to accept that their way might not be your way, and it's okay. If you ask your husband to handle dinner and he orders pizza instead of cooking it himself, that's still dinner handled. If you ask a team member to draft a report and they structure it differently than you would have done it, that's still your report drafted. Give them room to succeed in their own way. That's how you build a team. That's how you build a partnership. That's how you protect your emotions for what actually matters. The BLING concept helps you ask for help strategically, not just as a last resort, as a leadership strategy. The Emotional Sophistication Map will help you identify exactly where you need help, what's stopping you from asking, how to communicate your needs without sacrificing your credibility. And it just takes 5 minutes. You can access it in the description. Let me tell you what refusing to ask for help is stealing from you. You're sacrificing your leadership effectiveness. When you try to do everything yourself, you become the bottleneck. Your team can't move forward because everything has to go through you. So your projects stall, decisions are delayed, your team gets frustrated because they're waiting on you. And here's what you're not seeing about this. Your team wants to help. They want to step up. They want you to trust them. But when you keep everything to yourself, you're not just overloading yourself, you're blocking their growth. You're sacrificing your ability to lead strategically because you're too busy managing tactically. You are sacrificing your intimacy with your husband. Listen, your husband can't read your mind. When you manage everything at home without asking for help, you're not protecting him from burden. You're blocking him from partnership with you. His role isn't to help. I get that. His role is to cover and protect you, but he can't do that if you don't tell him what you need. If you don't ask, he doesn't know. And every time you stay silent, you're teaching him that you don't need him to help you. And that's not protecting the relationship, that's eroding it. You're sacrificing your future self. See, the woman you're becoming, she doesn't operate from a scarcity mindset where asking for help means losing value. She operates from a strategic mindset where asking for help creates space for what only she can do. Every time you refuse to ask for help, you're building an environment where you're indispensable and exhausted. You're making yourself the single point of failure. That's not sustainable. And it's not sophisticated either. Let me show you what life looks like when you start asking for help strategically. You build a stronger team at work because you're delegating, you're trusting, you're giving people room to grow, and they're stepping up. And it's because you're being strategic. Your team respects you more, not less. And that's because you're discerning about what requires your leadership and what doesn't. You're not trying to do it all, and you're leading well. You build a deeper partnership at home because you're communicating. You're telling your husband what you need. You're inviting him into his role to cover and protect you, and he's responding. And that's not because you are begging him. He's responding because you asked clearly and gave him room to handle it his way. You create space for what only you can do. That's strategic thinking, the vision, the decision making that actually moves the business forward, the intimacy with your husband that builds a marriage, not just a household. When you ask for help strategically, you stop being the bottleneck. You become the leader. And that's the shift that matters to your future self. The woman that you're becoming needs this shift to take place. If you're watching and thinking, Davina, I need help actually doing this, I understand. So, first, grab the Emotional Sophistication Map. It helps you identify exactly where you need help, what's stopping you from asking, and how to communicate strategically. It takes 5 minutes, and the link is in the description. If you need deeper support, I created the Self Gut Check Method course. It walks you through how to identify your emotions, understand what's driving your decisions, and choose strategically. You get real time examples for work and home and access to a community doing this work right alongside you. If you need real time strategic support, Sophie is here. She's a sophisticated emotional strategist built on my framework. She helps you process what you're feeling and decide how to ask for help without sacrificing credibility. She's available whenever you need her. The link is in the description. If you want one-on-one support, I offer the refinement sessions. These are premium consultations where we identify exactly what you need help with and create your communication strategy. Spots are limited. The link is in the description. Here's what I want you to remember. Asking for help isn't failure, it's strategy. Your competence isn't measured by how much you can handle alone, it's measured by how well you build systems that allow you to lead. Your emotions impact your thinking impacts your behavior creates your environment. When you use the BLING concept, you ask for help strategically and you build the right future. There's a scripture that speaks directly to this. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good reward in their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up." You weren't meant to do this alone. You were meant to build partnership at work, at home, in every area where you're leading. Asking for help honors this design. It doesn't diminish you, it positions you. If this resonated, share it with the woman who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Brains and Baubles Live. Grab the Emotional Sophistication Map. I'm Davina Dandridge. This is Brains and Baubles Live. I'll see you in the next one.